Hello and welcome to the 2021 Dynamic Discs Open, stop number 2 on the PDGA National Tour. We are here in Emporia, Kansas. I am Nate Sexton, joined by my friends, BigSexyBarri commentary, Jeremy Koling and Paul Ulibarri.
Well, let's get right into that Grip 6 low profile. Eagle McMahon, 2020 DDO back in June, took 6th place at this event. Calvin Heimburg, 2nd place, right behind Paul Macbeth, the score of 23 under par. Emerson Keith, fresh off his 2nd place finish at the Mid-America Open just last week. And he also tied this fellow right here. Chris Dickerson got 2nd place at Mid-America Open. Still over a 50% win percentage in his career with over 140 wins. Pretty unbelievable stuff.
And this is hole 1. This is the new Jones Gold layout. You may recognize this. The tee pad is hole 9 from Jones East that you may have seen in the past, but the basket has moved. It is a little bit longer. There's OB down that entire left side. This water line is also OB, obviously the pond OB as well. This course incorporates some of the elements of Jones East that stay in on Jones Gold. I feel like when they make Jones Platinum, this hole can stay because this is maybe a little bit above gold, in my opinion. This is a bruiser to start.
And we're starting off.
Representing Disc Mania, Eagle McMahon.
We're starting off on the hardest hole of the course. So from here, it gets quite a bit easier, but this hole is averaging just under a 5 at 4.92. Very difficult. Even with a great tee shot, you are still in a very difficult decision-making place. Do I go for it? Do I lay it up? These guys, they're going to go for it.
I think it's kind of a tricky hole as well. I think the farther you lay it back down the fairway, the easier the upshot's actually going to be. Because the farther you go down, then you bring those trees into play, and I feel like in order to hit the gap, you got to throw it hard.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. Certainly there is an ideal landing zone. Anyone else slightly surprised Eagle McMahon doesn't elect the big forehand here with his skill set?
Very.
And you know, there's 2 plays that I think open up that second shot the most. Calvin Heimburg just lacing it right down the middle, staying away from the road. I think that you want to bring it closer to the road because you do bring those trees out of play a little bit more. That forehand that you alluded to is a great play for Eagle because he can just throw a chip and put himself really close to the road's edge, giving himself the shortest approach possible.
Essentially, kind of where he's trying to land with the backhand is where his sidearm could easily land.
Emerson turning this over. That's going to be similar to where Calvin's was, maybe not quite as long, but you see Calvin putting up that umbrella. The wind is down here in Emporia for what we're used to, but there are chances of some inclement weather, and it looks like it might be coming around sooner than we'd like to see.
Great shot from Chris, staying right up the middle the whole way. You see he doesn't have that turnover, so he is a little closer to the road. Should be favorable for his second shot.
And one thing to note, these guys could go way down the fairway, like I was saying. They could push that out of bounds deep, but they're electing to lay it up short, so they have this kind of wide open hyzer that we're looking at.
And Eagle shots up.
This is low, but driven. And there is your rain delay, and Eagle McMahon out of bounds.
Mid-air, Eagle
I feel like
releases.
they called it while he was still in bounds halfway through the flight.
So he should get his
There might
disc.
be a good argument. So this is a full 45 minutes later. Now we're back with Chris. That was a fast 45 minutes.
Yeah, it seems like it was much, much faster now than it was in real time. But Chris Dickerson, first shot out of the break.
Wow.
Puts it just inside the circle, right around 28 feet. A fantastic second.
As some of you may not know, during the duration of the break, you are allowed to kind of go practice your shots, which I'm sure Chris actually may have gone and done that.
Yeah, it's a nice way to warm yourself back up. You might as well take a throw on your actual lie. It's a really rare thing. And oh, my goodness.
With the wedge under the koozie. It doesn't get better. I mean, you can't realistically throw it in from here. It's 480. It doesn't get better.
That is crazy.
Halo Destroyer.
Keep in mind, our stats man, Big Jerm,
Yeah.
said that this averages nearly 5.
And he's
And
not
this is a dunk 3.
dunk. He could do any sort of dunk he wants. I mean, under the legs, behind the back, 360, you name it. And Emerson actually going longer down the fairway. That's
Oh,
Ooh,
no.
he has to bring the turnover into the green. Does this have enough energy to get over the road?
Does it cross? But no, it never crossed, and he's only going to get to advance about maybe 80 to 75 to 80 feet. He even brings it back off the road a bit to give himself a better
That's smart.
stance.
That ditch is really tough footing-wise right next to the road, and that's a fantastic recovery shot from Emerson.
Yeah, that'll just be a bogey at that point. That could have got out of control quick.
Eagle needing to make this super long putt to avoid the bogey for himself. But that's almost assuredly the case, and so Eagle will have to start with that bogey. And you know he's got to be wishing he just held onto that disc for another 2 seconds before releasing that second shot, maybe giving him a little bit more time to assess the nature of that throw.
He was trying to knock Calvin's out from being a leaner right
Yeah,
there
I
with
saw
his putt,
that.
too.
I saw that. Almost unwedged Vinny, and that's not going to make him happy.
What a great putt there for Chris. Chris would be the 13th person in this 140-player field. Calvin would be the 14th player to take the opening 3 on hole 1.
Wow, incredible birdie. Hole 2, par 3, 351 feet. Slightly downhill, out of bounds right, has been brought in a bit since the last time we played this hole. And then you've got the road line down the left. The basket tucked in behind this one big tree. You can go backhand low up the middle, even backhand spike hyzer, but you also see a lot of players elect to go with a high forehand.
Calvin going to go with that AVR X3, it looks like. Just go for that straight down the middle play. That's looking like he's left that well short.
I feel like that's a tough play with a putter because that is a very low ceiling approach from that tee pad. You almost have to throw it absolutely perfect to barely miss those limbs and then just kind of slide down that hill.
This looks similar.
And that rain is starting to pick up, and you know, it's one of the things that these earlier cards have already finished. Tee time starting as early as 7 a.m., and these guys didn't start till 1:30, so there's such a disparity with conditions. It just didn't really rain for these earlier guys. And
I really like this play.
Here
The
is
high
a
spike, yeah.
hyzer. Oh, I like the roll.
sit.
Wait a minute. Do I like it?
Sit.
I'm starting to hate it.
And that
I'm okay with it.
took about 15 seconds to settle inside the circle.
These guys are showing every option that I asked them to show you guys. This is fantastic. Emerson goes high forehand, short. So we're going to have a couple long putts. Even Eagle kind of rolled to edge of circle, but he did stay in bounds.
These par 3s are so imperative. There are only 5 of them on the course. Calvin coming up short with his birdie bid. Only 5 par 3s. Par 69, and it's just, there's such a premium on getting these 2s.
I honestly think the par 3s are harder than most of the par 4s. I think that the par 3s actually give you the element of like a tough shot. This is not an easy shot they're throwing, as you see, you know, 4 of the best players in the world almost all outside the circle, given, you know, a big-time roll.
Oh, and Chris drains the putt.
Big time putt from Chris.
Far
That had
enough,
to be nearly 50 feet.
far enough that he could actually pick up pace and get to a full sprint to get his disc back out of the basket. And you know, that was something that we were thinking about earlier when we were talking about the keys to this course. You know, you normally say putting, but really putting only comes into play usually in these par 3s because a lot of these par 4s with a pretty good tee shot and an okay second shot, you should be fairly close. Emerson coming up a bit short and wishing it got that just a bit higher, but you know, when you see a par 3 course, putting is so much more important, it feels like.
Great birdie from Eagle.
So he erases the bogey on one and is back to even.
I've got a new nickname for Eagle.
I'm looking forward
Eagle
to this.
McMahon. Because he's just
that's
obliterating courses.
That's great. You might want to wait till he's a little bit lower than even par through 2 to say that, but I still like
I
it.
don't know. It just came to me. I had to throw it out
when
there.
I love
when
it.
it hits you, it hits you. Hole 3 is a combined hole. This one is a par 4 at 630 feet. It plays to the next basket on the normal Jones East layout, but they've got this OB line strung out and with the wall as well that really pinches to a narrow point at the top there and then kind of sweeps away. So a shorter drive is probably the play. No one's really going huge here. Then you do also have to watch out for the woods on the right and the OB Creek long left.
Different ways to play this. You can try going all the way down to the tree line, or you can just play a little bit shorter pitch shot like Chris Dickerson has done here. And by doing so, I think he's kind of taken out those 2 big trees that are kind of randomly in the middle of that second shot out of play there.
Yeah, you see Eagle backing way off. You do have to be careful too. I mean, that tree line in the back is very reachable if you flatten something up or try to get too aggressive. I think these guys are just looking. This might even be a mid-range. Just looking.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is really left though. Okay, that's an interesting play. That's going to be a new landing zone that I haven't seen anyone play from. But I think these guys are generally going for about 400 feet, and that's about it. You don't want a whole lot more.
That's it. Yeah, that's nice there from Emerson. But you know, that's a good point, Jerm. Those 2 trees on his approach shot kind of awkwardly pinch you off into...
And look, Calvin's just going to play out there so he can swing the hyzer around him and not really concern himself. That being said, hits a limb, still fights his way all the way up to 20 feet. He's going to have a short putt for birdie, and you can really see that rain. It's picking up bad.
What that shows me is just supreme confidence. He just played a 630-foot hole like 200 and then 430,
Yeah.
you know, like, and just parked it. So that shows a guy who trusts his discs, trusts his form, and he doesn't mind leaving himself a 400-foot shot into the green.
Him getting under that umbrella was pretty funny, though. It's like his head was under there, but the rest of his body was out. Like a little kid hiding from you, and you can see the rest.
That'll be about 33 feet for Chris.
This is your traditional play right here. And
Oh, no. It's turning over, and actually a fortunate bounce out. If that had gone deep in the woods, it could be difficult to get out.
I would say in general, those 4 drives were very conservative. Even Emerson wasn't that close to the corner.
I think if you get down to that corner, it really places a strong emphasis on throwing a forehand approach. I don't think you really want to go backhand down to that tree line and then throw another backhand.
Eagle a little high there.
yeah, that was a kind of a weird little setup that he had there. I've never seen him do that. Like, I don't know. That was a little out of his routine, I believe.
Rain can maybe do that. I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, or a lightning delay or a combination of the two. Honestly, it didn't rain that much during the lightning delay, but now that rain has blown in a serious way.
Calvin looking to pick up the only birdie on the card, and he is able to connect. So the very conservative tee shot ends up playing out with the only birdie on the card. Some good strategy. It's interesting to see the different ways that people can strategize their way through the course. I wonder what came to his mind to make him think to play that way. I would have never thought to chip off a tee shot that short.
Yeah.
I think one of the things he's trying to do there is it just lines up that hyzer. You don't have anything to worry about. Those 2 trees on the left, you know, you don't have to throw that straight shot. You can just put something on hyzer, and no matter what, you're going to be landing right around circle's edge in the circle like you did.
That's a lot of preparation and definitely showing why coming to the course early is paying off.
Hole 4, par 4, just 530 feet. This you may recognize as hole 18 from tournaments past, this is one of the easier holes on the course, in my opinion. Players are going to mostly play short of this parking lot, throw the drive around 300 to 350 feet, and then throw a relatively short crossing shot to this little sliver of a green. But the right side is not OB, so you really can swing it into the right. You might have a little bit of a tricky putt, but there's no huge danger to the right.
The only thing that scares that forehand play is if it's got a little bit too much angle, a little too tight, it can start getting close to that tree line, but that's put the brakes. That's in a good spot. Another 5, 10, 15 feet to the right, it starts to get a little bit tricky. And that's an ideal placement. Chris will be able to see the basket into, assuredly going to go with a backhand putter shot on his second.
Distance just not very important here. It can be anywhere in like a 100-foot window of between maybe 275 and 375 or so, and all those shots are kind of equally difficult to swing up into the green. So players just paramount to get in bounds. They all do that really well, and we should see some pretty short up shots.
So Chris indeed going backhand turnover play. It's working its way to the green nicely. That'll be a tap-in birdie.
Great shot.
That's a scary shot to me. Turnover over the road, one little mishap, and then you're hyzering out. I feel like the sidearm with no OB left, as you see Eagle do here. This will skip into there, but
Yeah.
that's manageable, and that's not a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of thought the same thing. As I saw Chris line it up, I thought, I don't know. I feel like he's just maybe 1 year away from that being a forehand for him because his forehand is so good.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to get to that place where he plays the forehand on a shot like this.
But why? When you can put it 2 feet, no
maybe
problems.
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. His backhand is that good, but I love forehands, so I'm that's kind of where I hope he goes.
Neat. I was going to say Neagle. I don't know why I was about to say Neagle. I don't think he's on a knee.
Nickname again.
But he looks like he's just straddled. Maybe he was on a knee.
Yeah.
One of the best knee putters in the sport, able to capitalize by getting the disc pin high.
Neagle McMahon.
That's a scary guy.
Emerson in for his first birdie of the round, bringing him back to even par. Hopefully a sign of things to come. You're going to have a star frame here on hole 4.
I feel like this is the course in general. Little kind of 2-shot holes. Pick your choice, whether you want to be aggressive off the tee, but you'll have a fairly easy upshot in the green.
I'm Paul Ulibarri with today's Bushnell hole breakdown. You can find the Edge Disc Golf Rangefinder at the link in the description. Hole 5 is one of the signature holes here at Jones Gold. With a favorable landing zone, a bit uphill 370 feet from the tee, the real tough part isn't the first shot, it's the 280-foot water carry. And this extremely elevated basket adds a nice touch. Let's see how it plays out.
It's kind of silly how that koozie is just barely covering the bowl in this basket. It's elevated 6 feet high.
Stupid basket waiting for a flood.
But if a flood comes, it's going to be floating just fine. So
Big drive. That's to the top of the hill.
we call that hill Big Berm.
Big Jerm's Big Berm.
That's what they call it.
Chris Dickerson calls it easy.
Yes.
Very easy tee
Yeah.
shot for him.
He's going a little shorter, but no problem. Overstable mid, you think?
No, this is a cloud breaker, just softly thrown to get the distance, hyzering off to a good spot. I think. No?
I
No,
don't
that was
think
that
there's
was
any chance of that.
ever.
Well, this is a getaway from Emerson Keith.
Ooh, quick swing.
I-
Aggressive.
I have no idea if that was a getaway. I just throw these things out there, and we're going to see if that's true with the fact checking online. I try sometimes. I really do. I thought that was a driver from Eagle. You don't think that was?
I don't.
Huh.
What a shot. Love it. Right up to the bricks for Chris.
This Eagle has that eco green colored cloud chaser.
It's not going to change the fact that it's not it.
All right. Well,
I can see the confusion, though.
it's
the same color.
It's immense. It's a strong amount of confusion.
Yeah. Eagle actually has 2 blue discs. So
Well, this is an
that's a
FD3.
commentator's nightmare, let me tell you. And here he goes over the water.
FD3. And you see that was great footwork from Eagle. Even though he goes deep,
Too great.
he took the advice from Paul that he gave me in our mic'd up practice round, and he slowed his feet down. Even though everyone thinks I wasn't paying attention, you were wrong.
Calvin is in such a great spot here at the top of the hill.
Just looking straight at the basket. That is just an all-day Eagle.
Whoa.
Well,
Unlucky, but it's still really close.
pretty much parked. So Eagle lengthy uphill putt.
Wow.
What a hit.
Going downhill to the tall basket. Incredible putt.
McMahon blowing up another basket.
That's perfect.
Sick putt. Emerson, he makes the putt.
That's back-to-back for him. That's good to get back on track
He's at
after
one
that
under.
that slow start. Anything after, 5, 6 holes here, and if you're not leaking into that under par stage, you're losing strokes to folks.
Big time. And with Calvin being just the third up, Chris Dickerson going to have a really short putt to make back-to-back star frames. And the way this course opens up here in the middle section, there are a lot of birdies to get. JomezPro might go broke giving money to charity here.
This is a great star frame. I got to think there weren't a lot of groups able to get 4 birdies on that hole. It's just a tough shot to land it right next to the elevated basket. Looking here at hole 6, par 4, 565. This one has OB down the left side the entire way, and then you got this creek that bisects the fairway that is also OB. So you'd like to get down left and then hit this gap the drone is hitting to get to the basket. But if you don't, there is a spike hyzer play. You can go over the top, a thumber, a grenade, a spike hyzer to get you to the basket from an out of position place.
I'll tell you what, these Emporia course designers have their work cut out for you, because here's the thing. They have to think about crazy weather that happens all the time. Now, calm conditions, this course is going to play as one of the easier courses that we play all year.
When is it calm? Ever.
But when is it ever calm?
Right.
Exactly. And so, days like today, even with a rainstorm, these short par 4s, these players are going to eat them up for lunch.
And I think you see the exact same phenomenon in Las Vegas, because it is so windy sometimes, and then you get there on a calm day and you're like, what were they thinking with this 660-foot par 4? Easy. And then the next day you go out there and you take a triple bogey because the wind is blowing. And you're like, oh, okay,
Good score.
I guess I'm starting to understand it. But yeah, it is a tricky spot. I think you make a great point. Designing courses that can be played in a place that is, probably has like a standing average of like 15 miles an hour all year round in terms of a windy day.
Well, certainly in April. I mean, we have never really come to the Dynamic Discs Open, or the formerly known as the Glassblown Open, in April without having some really drastic inclement weather. It's always going to be windy. In the days it's not windy, you get this. It's going to be rain.
Our practice rounds average 20 to 30 mile per hour with gusts of high of 40 to 45.
It was wild.
So Emerson, great shot through the gap, and he had the worst drive, and that is still fantastic. If that tells you anything about how well these guys are doing. In the rain, grip issues, not slowing these guys down. They all find the perfect landing zone, and it's the simple forehand through the gap. Chris is a little deep, but still inside the circle.
I think this is another hole where getting a little bit aggressive off the tee could actually hurt you.
Look at Eagle. Look at him. He's looking up.
Wow, he is a little out of position. Has to go over the top. Not a lot of players have that option.
I don't think I've ever seen that approach, and he almost dunks it.
Great shot.
You know, there's that little bit of a hyzer space over to the right side that's a bit lower than the rest of the trees, and just like that, on the forehand hyzer, there's a little bit of an area up there that's open for that shot.
Calvin taking a cold shower on this one.
Yeah, this is the time in the round where it came down harder than obviously the rest of the round. And
Fortunately, short-lived, though.
Ooh.
well, let's hope he lives that one down.
And that's the time, I mean, when you just get that pouring rain like that, I just think that's the time when you can so easily drop a little stroke like that.
I think one of the big things is grip issues. Like, especially with putting, you need that sliding right out of your hand all easy peasy, and when the rain comes, you get a little tackiness or slippery or whatever. It's just not the same, and that can get in your head.
And it cuts down on your routine, too. Like, you're sitting there 20 feet. You might be a guy who likes to twirl the putter between his hands a little bit. It's like,
Who does that?
stop doing that. It's getting soaked. What are you doing? Stop. And then you have to putt, and then before you know it, that's a par.
And then the next thing you know, you're saying, dang it, Nate.
Yeah. Yep.
Eagle
I
has
don't know
a
why you
glove
said
on.
Nate, but yeah, dang it, somebody, that's for sure.
I thought that was you were talking, a little internal dialogue you were sharing with us.
Hole 7, par 3, 355 feet. This one is pretty much a forehand hole. Backhand roller also playable, but I don't really see a backhand air shot finding its way to circle 1. You've got the out of bounds long, and you've got the mandatory keeping you in the middle of the fairway, but this is kind of like just a gap shot, and you need to finish hard right, hopefully with a skip.
What is James Conrad doing on this hole?
Roller, maybe.
Maybe. It's just, it's
He's
kind of a strange line for a
Probably taking a par.
Yeah.
Garrett Gerthy went roller in my group to circle 1 today.
And he's got a serviceable forehand, so that's interesting. Calvin, not the good tee shot. Kicking right, he's going to be in a bad position.
This is pretty high. Does it get under the branches? Yes.
Does it sit down?
Not quite.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'd take it.
Me too.
Emerson, after a turkey of birdies.
Oh, yeah. Maybe a little short, but that's money.
Yeah, nice shot.
I'd take that one, too.
Right at the edge of circle 1, slightly downhill putt.
Chris would like to get this closer after the errant putt on hole 6, and this is looking real good.
Best one of the group.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Great shot.
So now Calvin's got a little bit of trickiness. He's got this barn in the way. He's going to have to go up and over to a blind basket position.
A little hot. Hot.
Oh, no.
And he's in the Roto B, and I wonder if he even knows at this point. Now he definitely knows.
Wow.
And this is a tough comeback putt. 40-plus feet. Well, maybe right there, the 35, 37-foot range, but look at that.
Great putt.
This is great composure right there. Just really unfazed by that.
Just a little left for Emerson.
Such a good putter.
That makes it pretty easy when you can just have a little 20-footer up the hill for
Make it.
bird.
And that's 4 in a
have
row
good,
for Eagle.
Yeah, have a good putting stroke that you've developed over years and years of preparation and hard work. That's good, too.
It's a good recipe.
5 of the last 6 holes for him, and he's at 4 under, and that's a good start. I mean, even without the bogey, being 4 under through 7 it's pretty good, especially with hole 1 being as difficult as it is.
Underrated forehand alert. Chris Dickerson with just a perfect shot. on a trickier hole than it I think appears on camera. I find that hole pretty difficult.
And quietly leading the pack right now at 5 under. Great start, bogey free, a huge putt in hole 2, but everything else from there has been pretty elementary. Even with a putt missed inside the circle, he is at 5 through 7.
Hole 8, par 4, 585, out of bounds on both sides of this fairway, and this starts a run of 3 holes that are pretty similar to each other. 3 holes that you really want to birdie because they are short par 4s.
Yeah, this is that stretch where you take the same disc out of your bag and throw it off the tee almost every single time.
And this will work. Big hyzer right up into the landing zone. That should leave him around 200 feet. A little bit of tree action in the way, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, you want to get a little bit longer than that off the tee, I feel like, just so you can avoid those trees that could potentially come in play. If not, yeah, this is
More aggressive.
This is the FX2 that Chris has gone with, and he's in the air, flown past Eagle's hyzer, and that's going to make that approach much easier. That being said, it really doesn't matter where you land on this hole. You've got to figure out a way to get the birdie. Averaging nearly 0.6 below par, that is what we call in the business a must-get birdie. And so far, all 3 of these guys are in great position.
You hear him say, don't roll. Does not like the angle, but isn't punished too bad. He's a little shorter than he would like.
Calvin will be first.
Just a little chip shot.
Nice throw.
Putting the brakes on that Rhino right behind the basket.
Whoa. Little inside for Eagle.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, just bringing those trees into play. That angle's not so bad if he gets another 50 feet of distance, but having to throw a little bit of a trick shot, and you can see how much easier that shot was for Emerson, just opened up by being closer to that creek off to the left.
A-plus commentary from the big man. You called that he was a little short, uncomfortable position to be in.
That's nice, little nose up. Soft putter shot, something you practice with your buddies, playing a little catch there.
All day, every day. Chris Dickerson, he has made a career out of that shot right there.
Ooh, pretty good bid.
He snuck kind of under that tree. He's going to have to get the kneecaps dirty there.
Eagle.
Oh, no. That's rough being that close and then kind of giving one away on the green there.
Yeah, and he had a putt for birdie in the hole prior and has missed that one. And 2 consecutive missed putts. Emerson's going to need to clean that up to stay with this card right now. It's bringing that early heat.
Whoa.
Wow.
That looked like it got out above the rim for a second and then drops back down in for Calvin. That was a scary one.
Very rare putt miss that you may only see a couple of those in your career where it makes it all the way down to the bottom of the cage and comes back out. That's the stroke that we're familiar with seeing Emerson through the chains, not just to the chains.
Oh, the old back and back. Oh, there it is.
Eagle
Take a
McMahon.
knee.
Yeah, there it is. Somehow I find that he gets better when he positions himself in a place where he can just be a little bit more steady with that knee position on the ground. If there's any way to get better than what he already is. I don't know if that's a factor or not.
Hole 9, par 4, 613 feet, slightly uphill. OB road on the right, OB flags on the left. This one may be even easier than the last one, as there's really not that many trees in the way. You play that wide hyzer, get up the fairway 350 to 400 feet, and you're looking at a pretty simple upshot.
I mean, this is very similar to hole 8, like you're saying, Nate. And like you said, it is easier. 3.35 average, that's basically like a tough par 3 that you just can't get a 2 on. There's no crossing creek OB left like there is on hole 8. It's just that road that's maybe a little bit closer off the tee. Other than that, it's pretty much the same hole.
Yeah, Chris gets a little close to the left side OB, but stays in bounds nicely.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of similar lines, just low hyzer, wide hyzer. The real mistake you can make here is getting it a little too high and then getting that nose up, and it'll kind of go to the left there and sneak out of bounds on you once in a while. So you'll see. If you get it over the road, there you go. Nothing bad can happen.
Sharp angle. So again, kind of giving up distance for control for Eagle.
If you do want to get a little crazy, a few of these guys could probably get jump putts at this if they really wanted to. We won't see that at least until possibly the final round.
Well, no. It's
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We play back here tomorrow, so I could see that coming into play on a last day situation where we just need to make up strokes. But first 2 rounds, there's really no situation where you ever feel like you need to eagle and press the issue. But it would be interesting. It would certainly be entertaining to see these guys really give us all they have.
Certainly the forecast calling for a bit more favorable conditions, so maybe we'll be treated to a couple more aggressive shots. It's a little tough to do in the rain and the wind like these guys are struggling through right now. Well, struggling is the wrong word. They're kind of destroying it, but the conditions are a bit tough.
They're struggling to keep their discs dry, and that's a fact.
And they've leaked a couple because of the rains and the situation they are in. Let a couple go that normally that would just be formalities.
Chris with an excellent putter approach once again, and Calvin cannot find a shorter approach than that, just having to keep his elbow and his wrist up there by his shoulder just to slow down his arm swing.
There it is from Emerson. A little more distance on that one, but finds the center. That's the face of a man who's missed a couple putts. He's walking that in kind of slow.
That back foot extension reminds me of Steve Rica, the way he really gets his whole body forward momentum into that putt. And that's one of the reasons why Steve Rica is known as one of the best putters we had on tour for a really long time.
Another star frame. That is it for our front 9 coverage. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Some names you just watched. Dickerson 7, Presnell 7, Gibson 7, Rathbun 7, Barella 7. There's too many 7s to count. Brody Smith in there at 7 through the front 9.
Wow.
So incredible golf being played. 9 more holes to go. People are going double digits. I can tell you that. It is going to go low.
Very low. The wind down, this course is more scoreable than really any other course we're going to play on tour. Interested to see what happens in round 2 when those winds pick up, but we've got 9 more holes here from first round action at the Dynamic Discs Open in Emporia, Kansas.